Welcome back to Sippin With Sin, the number one podcast about seven things and stuff that are important to everybody across the world, across the astral plane, across the universe, across this everything. Haddonfield to Crystal Lake. It is the number one podcast of things. And we're back for another week. Episode 115, I believe. Spooky season's in full swing, and we got another episode for you guys. So, without further ado, let's welcome back our esteemed colleague, the one and only Mr. Christian.
How's it going, everyone? Feels good to be back for another pod. I've had a week, Sin. What about you?
Yeah.
Still having a week?
The week is just not ending. It is essentially Groundhog Day.
I feel that. And it sucks. But I understand.
But we are officially in October. I know last week's episode was actually come out in October, but we're in October now. And spooky season's in full swing. So, let's get into what we've been watching, reading, listening to, or playing, shall we?
Let's do it.
I don't have a lot, so I'll start. I have, I don't really have much of anything because my schedule is just out of control. But I did start. We do 31 Nights of Horror. We watch a different horror movie every night. It is going to be a challenge this year with everything going on. But I watched Amityville Horror to start it off. October 1st, we watched Amityville Horror. And we watched the 2005 edition, which is with Ryan Reynolds. And, yeah. So, I have to say, the movie is all right. It has a soft spot in my heart, mainly because Ryan Reynolds makes it for me. But it has a lot of the 2000 horror things. The really dated, weird transition and effects. And it's not necessarily the best movie. I'm not going to say it's... I would prefer to... I like it because of Ryan Reynolds, but I would say the original is much better. He obviously makes it for me. Other than that, I don't give a shit about the kids. They can... I don't care about them in the slightest. None of them. Not any of them. Even though we get... I forgot she was in it. Chloe something.
Chloe Grace Moretz?
Yes, she is. She's young in it, and she's in there. You get her. She's probably she's okay as the kid, but even then, still, her out climbing on ledges and shit. I mean, it's her own fault. Still, the creepiest part in the whole movie would be the end, where the arms come up and grab Jody and take her back under. I don't know why, but to me, that's the creepiest part. And watching this, I just realized people make really dumbass decisions a lot. And I know it's horror movies, but they just make really stupid decisions. Like Mr. Preacher Priestman peeking in holes when doors are slamming behind him, and he sees the cross turn to an upside-down cross, but he doesn't acknowledge. He's just like, all right, I'm going to look in this hole anyways. Like, people just do stupid things, and I'm just like, man. But it is what it is. It's a 2000s horror movie. And those that aren't familiar with horror probably don't know what I'm talking about, but there's a lot of, like, head-shaking effects where they, like, turn their head real fast and it, like, blurs it real goofy, and it's just... I mean, then I'm sure it was cool. Now, I'm like, wow, But, yeah. Other than that, I watched stuff for cinema, and I think that's been about it. That's been about it for me. Really not a lot going on. Had an awesome interview with Marcus from Invent Animate, but other than that, there's not been a lot going on for me. Like, to talk about and watching, reading. More Pet Cemetery. I'm on chapter 40.
What's the last thing that happened?
40, let's see. He's about to go bury Gage.
Okay.
So I'm on 49 right now. He's pretty much, like, convinced himself he's going to go get Gage. He's been, like, for the last several chapters, he's been debating on it a lot.
Okay.
He's been, like, tossing and turning about it and thinking about it. And Judd had the long talk about pretty much what Bloodlines was, that movie. Like, that whole scenario with the dude from the war coming back and not being the same.
Oh, he told the backstory and everything?
Yeah. Judd told the backstory. Michael C. Hall is amazing on it. So if you guys haven't listened to it, highly recommend it. He's crushing it. He makes it even better than it is. It's a great book, great story, but he makes it even better.
That's good to hear. That's good to hear. I've been reading, watching, listening to a few things. Nothing, not a whole lot of stuff of note. As of last week, so last week you guys remember I was reading the second Game of Thrones book. This one here, this is my personal copy, Clash of Kings. I did finish this one. Man, I love these books. They're very well written. It's a lot. Obviously, I mean, you can see it. I got the little pocket copies because they're leather bound, but it's a lot of information in here. But I'll tell you, when you're reading this, it doesn't feel like it's too much because the chapters, the way that they're laid out, even if you get like a chapter that's a bit longer, you typically get those longer chapters because it's getting ready to start a new thread of information we didn't have before, or it's starting a new part of the story. So I had a lot of fun with this one. If I had to tell you which one I liked more, the original Game of Thrones, like the first novel or the second, I definitely like the second one better because we get more. We just get more. You know what I'm saying? Like the first novel was introducing a lot of characters. Um, as of last week, I was telling you guys I hadn't finished this. We hadn't met Stannis. You do meet Stannis. You just meet him way later on in the book, way later on than I remember. So we did meet Stannis in the book. We got the death of Renly, that even is so much different from what it was in the show. In this one, it's very clear right off the bat. In the show, it's very clear off the bat that Red Woman and Stannis do some like really crazy witchcraft shit to conjure up this like this shadow baby that looks like Stannis to go kill Renly. But in this one, it's not the case. Like that does happen, but in the book, it's very ambiguous if Stannis even knows about it, right? Like they change a lot of the shit around, so it's really cool that way. Davos is already a really cool character in the show that transfers to the book. It's just really cool to read how he thinks and like what's on his mind all the time. And he's like obviously super loyal to Stannis, does not like the Red Woman. You find that out immediately when the book starts. There's no it's just really cool the way they do it. You know what I'm saying? The way that he's writing this, you know everybody, you know what they're about, you know what they're doing. When somebody gets backstabbed, it's a little different in the book as opposed to the show because in the show they play things up a little bit more for the drama. Here in the book, it's a little different. But I will say this again. Now finishing a Clash of Kings, Varys is still right now my favorite character. Like I can go on and on and on about the stuff that I like about Varys. It's a lot of the same stuff I said last week, but like finishing up this book, like it's just more so of what I said. Like he's that dude, bro. Like he tells Tyrion his backstory about how he got cut, about all that stuff. It's very similar to how it was in the show. There's a little things they peppered in there a little different, which makes sense that they took it out, but like that's very much the same. We don't see the scene where he like has apparently found this guy and is getting ready to torture him and all that shit. Like that's not in here, but the backstory is the same. It's really cool. Varys is just a really cool character. The way that he does things is really cool. It's really sneaky, but in like a good way. When Littlefinger does something sneaky, it comes off as like real slimy. You know what I'm saying? Like he's a straight slime, bro. It sucks. You want the worst for him, but when Varys is doing stuff and he's talking about his little birds and everything, you're locked in. So that is really cool to see. Um, like Sansa, like they do better in the book, making you feel bad for her. One, in the book, like the ages don't change, right? She doesn't look like she's 25 playing a 14-year-old. Like she's a child. So you understand why she does and says a lot of stupid shit in the beginning of these novels. But like I said, she's a kid. It makes more sense. It's way easier to get behind her on that. Um, Lady Marjorie, we've met, we've heard about her a bunch, and I'm really interested to see how that's going to play out in the next book. She is now betrothed to Joffrey. I'm really excited to see how more of the Joffrey stuff plays out. Like I said, I could go on and on about the Clash of Kings. It's really cool, but excuse me, I do need a break. I'm gonna take a quick break from Game of Thrones for a little bit, read something else. we're in the spooky season. I think it's time to read some more spooky shit and then come back into Game of Thrones. But I think that's a healthy thing to do. Like I don't want to take a break because I really want to keep going since I'm like on the train. But I also need to just literally take a pause and just read some other stuff that's a little creepier, that's a little more in season, a little more on theme, and then come on back. Even a lot of the stuff in the Game of Thrones books are horrifying. But aside from that, I also got to watch a few things. One of them I'm watching with my wife. I'm watching. It's called Barbecue Showdown, I believe, and it's just really fun to see people barbecuing, pit barbecue style, over open flame style. Like I really like seeing that. It gives me ideas personally, and obviously I love barbecue food, so it's just really cool to watch. But the one thing that we watched together, surprisingly, I didn't think she was going to be into this at all, but she's the one who brought it up to me. She wanted to watch the documentary, the docuseries on Netflix called uh, Mr. McMahon. So we ended up watching Mr. McMahon together, and we binged the hell out of it. We watched all of it in about 2 days, and it was really good, really interesting, really eye-opening, insightful. You learn a lot about Vince. Well, I mean, I didn't learn a whole lot that I didn't already know about Vince McMahon because I'm like in the know, in the zeitgeist when it comes to the wrestling scene. But god dang, did I tell you this? If you are someone who doesn't know much about, professional wrestling, knows next to nothing about Vince McMahon, this docuseries gives you everything you need. One, when it starts up, they're not making him look terrible. Like if you're like a McMahon defender, then sure, it might make him look a little bad. But this makes him seem like exactly what you would think. He's a strong, powerful man. He's really into like bodybuilding and stuff. He's into this business. He loves it a little too much. He plays this character, Mr. McMahon, which is what this docuseries is named after. And he likes to say that the character that he plays is a gross exaggeration of how he is in real life. However, literally every single wrestler that was featured in the show says that Mr. McMahon is an exaggeration of Vince McMahon, but just by a little. And that's coming from every single wrestler on there. So that's kind of letting you know what's going on. And obviously, this show is heavily edited. Things are edited in a way to make you think certain things, sure, but like, are they really like not hitting the mark on this? I mean, I don't know. I would say that they're very spot on with what's happening. And all of this stuff happened before the latest scandal with Vince McMahon. So, in a nutshell, you guys, I know you want to know like what's my ranking? What do I think of the show itself? Should you watch it? So, worth your time, all that stuff. It's fantastic. It's well shot. It's well edited for me anyway. It gives you some really cool insight to the wrestling world. My wife had no idea about Owen Hart. When she found out about Owen Hart, it broke her heart. She was disgusted by that information. She was disgusted that the show went on right afterwards. You have all these wrestlers that are just wrestling right on top of his dry blood. Like, for those of you who don't know, Owen Hart had a spot where he's supposed to, fly down from the top of the rafters. Something happens, his equipment is faulty. He falls from the top of the building, bam, hits the ring, and dies on the spot. Like he splats, essentially. And I remember watching that as a kid. I remember that episode. I remember watching it. And the camera's kind of cut, it fades to black, and then you hear a lot of like weird screaming. You hear the announcers trying to talk over it and around it, and they cut to commercial. Then when they come back from commercial, there's nobody in the ring, there is blood in the ring, and the announcers let us know pretty unfaithfully, bro, like, hey, Owen Hart's dead. Like, I remember that. So it's crazy to see. So a lot of these moments that they talk about when it comes to Mr. McMahon's life, I remember seeing those things in real time from being a legitimate wrestling fan. So, Sin, I don't know if you've watched it. I don't know if you plan to watch it, but it is great. It's definitely worth your time. If I had to give it a ranking out of 10, I'd give it a solid 8, nothing lower, maybe even higher. I really enjoyed watching it. Like I said, Vince Kennedy McMahon is a disgusting human being. I hope he gets what's coming to him. But I still like the product he put out. I'm not going to pretend like I didn't like what he put out. Like, a lot of the stuff is a product of the time it came out in, and I'm not a defender of him, but I'll say that is true. However, the way that people were treated, especially women in the industry, then leading up until very recently, it's unacceptable. And it's disgusting. And I watched it. I watched the shit out of it. I'm not gonna lie. I was the target audience, um, not knowing that this stuff was happening to people in real life at the time. But yeah, man, I really liked the show. Enjoyed it. Definitely watch it. It's not overly long. It's not overly complicated. You get right into the meat of what's going on. They tell you about his childhood for a little bit of an episode. They tell you about his family and how his family's in the business. We hear all we need to know. And I will say this: this is the last thing, and I want you guys to like hear me. If you're watching this live, look at me when I say this. I have always, always, always been a fan of Shane McMahon. I was very afraid going into this documentary thinking, oh my God, what if Shane is slimy as well? What if he's a piece of crap as well? I can say with the biggest smile on my face, there is a reason why I've always liked Shane McMahon. I will continue to love Shane McMahon. And he has a good chunk of an episode that's devoted to him. And I felt that in my soul. I felt that part of the episode in my soul. And Shane McMahon, we ride it down. Like, he's great. He's a wonderful human being. And there's a reason why he's not on TV a lot. And I love it. So everybody who hasn't seen it, who gives a modicum of a shit about wrestling, go watch it, binge it, do whatever you need to do. But it's worth your time.
Yeah. We did watch it, and all you need to know about Vince McMahon is that it says a lot when his daughter, who took over whenever he got his first hiatus and then pushed his way back in, didn't want to be in the same company as him and left the company. That should tell you all you need to know. If his own daughter wants no part of being in the company because he's back.
Mm-hmm.
He did a lot of good for the business, if you will, but he is, while he was probably the greatest promoter of all time, he is a shitty human being. This is that simple. And Mrs. Sin in chat just said something about it being on TV. The Owen Hart death was on pay-per-view. It was on the Over the Edge pay-per-view. So they weren't. It wasn't like a Raw or anything.
Was it on pay-per-view?
Yeah, it was on pay-per-view.
It might. Yeah, you're right. It was. I remember. I used to be able to watch those pay-per-views way back in the day, like all the time. I would go to my uncle's house. He had like all the channels, and he knew I was a fan. He was a casual fan. He really liked like Undertaker and Hulk Hogan, so he would always let me watch those, even though I probably shouldn't have been. And I saw a lot of the stuff that they talked about. Yeah. And on TV, I think what I'm doing is misremembering. On TV, they showed like little clips of the show. They showed Owen Hart on the Raptors, and then they showed like, I believe, the bloodstained ring, but not his body. Because the cameras weren't.
I think his head hit the turnbuckle whenever the glass snapped, and then it was.
I don't remember him hitting the turnbuckle. I want to say he was dead on
impact, pretty much, because he fell for I don't know how many feet and hit his head.
Yeah, he because I remember him falling and like straight up it just being hitting the ring. I don't remember the turnbuckle part of that, which you might be right on that. I just don't remember, but I do know for a fact that like there wasn't any like major suffering. He was immediately gone. And that was literally after all of the shit that happened with the Montreal Screwjob, excuse me. Yeah. So, dude, the Hart family has gone through some shit. I know that Natalia, like for the people who watch wrestling, now, or, were just watching wrestling, I'm pretty sure Natalia is now a free agent and isn't signing with anybody else. I don't know if she's going to continue wrestling or not, but she had a good run for a little while, but they tend to have her be the person who puts over new talent. So every time somebody comes in who's hot, they always fight Natalia. They always beat her. They always have like a feud with her for a little while. Ronda Rousey is another perfect example of that. And it's kind of sad. Natalia is very talented. She's very good at what she does, regardless of what she may or may not be into, what her sister does, like all that. Like, I don't care about that. That's her personal life. I care about the product that she puts out, which is, her wrestling content. And I really enjoy the wrestling content. But yeah, man.
I think only one person defended Vince the whole time, and that was Bruce Pritchard. I think he's the only one that, even at the end, like with all the allegations and stuff, he was still. Vince is a great person.
Okay, I'm glad you said that because I wasn't thinking while we were, while I was just talking about the show. But during the episodes where this was happening and we were watching it, I turned to my wife and I was like, this dude is defending Vince McMahon. He's a ride or die. You can tell they're very much the same person, but also
I think he's in
he
the
talked about
accusations too. I think he's one of the ones
he
like that's been in the shit.
100%,
I think
100%.
he's gone from the company now. I'm pretty
Oh
sure.
yeah, he absolutely. But also he talked about all the good that Vince has done as a person. But notice everything that he said was stuff that Vince personally did for him. Vince paid for my wife to go to the best doctors when her cancer came about. So she went from being able to live from like 6 months to 6 years or whatever he said. And I was like, you're not talking about anything that Vince McMahon has done as a good human being for other good human beings. You're talking about what he's done for you. You have a personal stake in what you're saying, which takes away the validity of what you're saying. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying that you're not valid because everybody's opinion is valid, but you're only telling me one thing that he's done, which is what he did for you personally. He paid for you to be able to do something. He paid for your wife to be able to do something. You're not telling me what he did for people. You're telling me what he did for you. So that example isn't a very good example of why he's such a good human being, why he's so good at this, why he's so good at that. And that reigned true the entire docu series because he only talked about himself and like what Vince did for him. Um, I will say that one good thing about Vince McMahon, aside from him being like getting the company to the point to where it is right now, is he did foster some really good relationships with these wrestlers because a lot of them said the same thing. He's like a father to me. He's like a surrogate father to me. He's a father figure in my life. That was said for a lot of people. A lot of people, a lot of famous wrestlers, a lot of good talent. They all said that. So either everybody is on clearly on this payroll and they're saying this because it's the easiest thing to say, it's low hanging fruit, or because it's true. And I think it's both. I think obviously like Vince McMahon put these people in places to be as successful as they are, but also he did treat some people pretty well, even though he was treating them shitty. Like Trish Stratus, like I don't care what anybody says, what she says, what Vince says about her career. She had to do a lot of shit that wasn't cool. She had to eat a lot of shit in the late '90s, early 2000s. She had to eat a lot of shit. She had to show off her body in ways she didn't want to, but she did them. And she's in the place that she is now because of that. That sucks because she was exploited. However, she said with her own words that most of the stuff that she had to do was all in good fun. She was in on a lot of the jokes. So I'm like, okay, cool. If you're in on it, you feel okay with what you had to do, then that's what's up. That is not the same for a lot of other wrestlers. That is not the same for a lot of other people who worked in the company and who were exploited. So that is the part that I'm speaking on when I say Vince McMahon's a terrible human being.
Yeah, he did.
But
There's
yeah,
a
I'm
lot
glad
of
you watch it.
allegations. A lot of allegations.
A lot. They've been going on for decades. Decades. It's insane.
So them cases where people
Yeah.
just have power and money and just think they can do whatever in the hell they want when they want, and they're untouchable.
I think it's crazy. Like it's not going to stop happening with Vince McMahon. I mean, like he is just like wrestling's version of like the Weinsteins essentially. Um, and stuff like that's going to continue to happen. Excuse me. Just think about like what's going on in the world right now with Diddy, for an example. I know a lot of people are talking about him, and I don't want to start that conversation about Diddy, but like it's the same type of shit. Like this stuff has got to stop. Um, and the only way we're going to stop it is people telling the truth, people suing, people getting these lawsuits together, and like exposing these terrible people. And I think one day the world will be a better place, and we'll get people locked up in a way where they can't hurt others anymore. But it's gonna be a long battle. But at least the battle has started. So there's that. But yeah, man. Other than that, I think of the other stuff that I was really, watching, reading, or whatever stuff that we're about to talk about on other sections. But I did want everybody to know I watched Mr. McMahon. I did enjoy it. Got a lot of information out of it. It was cool. My wife enjoyed it. she likes documentaries anyway, so she was here for it. And I mean, she was never going to be a fan of Vince McMahon, but she hates this guy's guts, and I don't blame her at all. She feels really bad about what happened with Owen. She feels really bad about the Montreal screw job. I don't want to speak for her too much because she's not here, but like I feel like she also isn't a fan of HBK or Triple H. However, she fucks with Stone Cold, so that's all I needed to know. I love
Why
it.
is she not a fan of HBK or Triple H?
After hearing what happened at the Montreal Screwjob and how they like um, Bret Hart, she just wasn't a fan of that because if you would do it to one person, you'll do it to people. And I think that the way that she thinks um, reigns true. I mean, Triple H has never been my favorite person in the world. Um, I think that he's good at his job. I think he's really insanely good at what he does. And I think that he's in the position that he's in for a reason. And they may not all be the best reasons, but he does his job and he does it fucking well. I will say that. I'll never discredit how well he does the job, man. And he is one of the most hated heels in WWE history because he does his job, man. Like he does his job, and he openly says like some of the stuff that they were doing back in the day. Like he's like, yeah, man, we would never do that today. Like this shit is crazy, but I mean, it's what we were doing back then. Like I get it. Like that is a true statement. I believe him when he says that. He doesn't come off as slimy like Vince does, but that doesn't mean that he's like the best person in the world. I think that he's a good wrestler. I think that he's a good businessman. He seems to be a really good, father to his children. He seems to be a good husband to his wife. What more can you ask for?
He even kind of throws shade at Vince as a
I think that
father-in-law.
you have to. I
Well, I
think
mean,
that
this
you
was
have
before
to.
the allegations, like the most recent one. He was still throwing shade about, like, what was it, the wedding day? Vince wanted to put it on pay-per-view, and he was just like,
Yeah.
and Steph was like, hell no. He's like, yeah, we're not. Come on, man. And, like, not even just that. He threw shade at Vince on a couple things, which lets you know, I guess, their, like, relationship. Like, I'm sure he respects Vince from a business standpoint, but I don't know that he's on board with a lot of Vince's, or how much he knows of Vince's shit. I'm sure he knows to an extent, probably, but
I
I
think
don't think he's on board or like wanting any part of any of Vince's bullshit.
I hear what you're saying, and I agree with you. Obviously, I think that is very much there. I think that I will add this. I think that Triple H, no, and I'm calling him Triple H just because it's easier for me. I don't really want to call him his real name just because I've known him as Triple H since forever, so it's just easier for me. But he definitely knows and knew about a lot more of the Vince stuff than he's letting on. But um, I think one of two things, or not one of two. I think both of these things were going on. One, that's his job. You know what I'm saying? This is what he does. This is how he feeds his family. All this stuff. So I think that it was a one part survival, just like not bringing up all this stuff, and then two, like he didn't really want to know what all doing because he doesn't condone Vince's actions. So I think he was just like it's still turning a blind eye, but not in a way where like you're seeing what's happening and you're just turning around and not saying anything. I think it's more so like whatever you're doing, I prefer that you do it way over there so that I could run the fucking business and do what we need to be doing and being the role models for these people that we need to be and not engaging in any of that shit that you're doing. I do think that that was happening. I know that sounds a little contradictory, but I think that Triple H as a person definitely had a really good idea of what was going on and was like, "Hey, please don't do this shit here. Please go somewhere else. Like, let me run the company. Like, let me make the company what it should be and not what you're doing because that shit's gross." I have daughters, like you have daughters, like you shouldn't be in here doing this kind of stuff. Like I just feel like he had that kind of mentality. Like I said, still not the best thing because see something, say something, but like at the same time, look at the good that Triple H has
There's a
done and
lot of
is
shit that goes
continuing
on
to
in those
do.
locker rooms that doesn't come out too, though. There's like
Oh yeah, for
a
sure, for
lot.
sure.
Triple H is supposedly one of the few like clean nose ones that even back in like the 90s and stuff when they all were, pretty heavy on like bars every night and drugs and everything else, he was supposedly always the DD because he didn't drink or do anything. So he was always the driver.
Which I think is, I remember we actually talked about this like a couple years ago.
Now, I'm not going to say he didn't do any drug because Triple H was a big ass dude. So I'm going to say at some point in time, he's had roids.
Oh, dude, I think that massive, he already in the.
But I'm talking about like pills and like the other shit that like wrestlers, especially in the 90s and stuff, were really known for. Like a lot of them partied really, really, really hard.
Wasn't he like the spokesperson for Stacker 2 back in the day?
Probably. I mean, dude was, God, he's what, like 6'2", 270?
Yeah.
What was his size? He was huge.
I see that Jordan was saying, unfortunately, he had to choose the lesser of two evils, which I do agree with. Like, I would take Triple H over Vince McMahon literally.
Oh, he's 6'4". Sorry. Damn.
6'4"? Okay.
Taller than I thought. I'm trying to see how much he weighed. Dude, he was easily 270. This says Bill weighed 255, but on some of his days, he was bigger than that.
Yeah, in the 2000s, bro, early 2000s, Triple H was a brick shit house. He was huge. I think one of the wrestlers who wasn't doing a bunch of roids was Austin, because Austin was never huge and he was never shredded. Like, he's shredded now as an old man. When he was wrestling all the time, like, nah, that wasn't the case.
Shit, he was big then too, though.
But he wasn't big in that way. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you look at Austin compared to like a Triple H, one of them was clearly juicing, and the other one was drinking juice. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's definitely a difference there. Like,
one drinking Austin, damn juice.
Austin definitely had like a more realistic like body type, but he also had like a personality for the job. Like, he just had it. And I do also like that Austin, aside from all the concussions and the neck breaking and whatnot, like, he was just like, I think I've done all I can do here. My story has been told more than once at this point. I've had feuds with the best people, and now Vince is asking me to do a bunch of shit I want to do, so I'm gonna head out. And he stuck to that for the most part. Like, he came back and did like little spots here and there, but boy left. Excuse me. And I thought that was really interesting. Like, I already knew it, but seeing it again was really cool. Yeah, man. Like I said, I could talk about that documentary forever. What's up?
That was his second time leaving. Remember, he dipped before that and had to come back. He dipped for like 6 to 8 months, wasn't it?
Yeah, wasn't he having a surgery though? I don't think.
No, he dipped because he was pissed off. He felt disrespected or something, and they wanted him to put over Brock or something on like a bullshit show, and he was just like, "I'm not doing it." Just left.
That's actually.
He went home and like wouldn't answer him, and then finally, I think Jim Ross got in touch with him like months later, and finally got the line going to him and Vince to get him to come back. And then I don't know how long that run lasted, and then he pretty much hung it up again when he was just like, "I'm done."
I don't blame him, and like I said, I respect it. I think that he did what he needed to do for himself, and it worked out. Sometimes you just gotta stick to your guns. Like, sometimes you're in the wrong, and there's nothing you can say to make things better. But I think for Austin, he did what he needed to do. It worked out for him, and he stayed out of some fucking trouble. That's for damn sure, because there was some crazy, gross stuff going on in WWE, and he didn't have to worry about being a part of that. So I think that's cool.
All right. So now what?
I think those were the biggest things that I was do. I still played some Dead Rising. At the time of this recording, I believe we have 4 days left until the new Dragon Ball Sparking Zero comes out. I will be playing the shit out of that when it drops. I plan on this weekend. Like I said, at the time of this recording, I plan this weekend to go and finish paying that off so that when the game comes out, I can just pick it up. I'm very, very excited. I listened. I watched some more game stuff to kind of see what the state of some games was going to be, because I know we talked about Ghost of Yokai the last time we talked on the pod. We talked about how they pushed back Assassin's Creed. There are some other things going on in the game world that I wanted to talk about, but I can't quite remember them right now, and it's bothering me because some of the stuff I was very excited to talk about, and I just can't remember to save my life. What was going
Time of recording, you have a couple days until Silent Hill 2 comes out.
Also very true, which is real cool. I do know that the time of this recording, like today actually, it is Nev Campbell's birthday. Sydney Prescott, for those of you who are fans of Scream. So wish her a happy birthday.
Tell her to keep
Or
her ass
belated
out of
birthday
Scream.
if you're listening. What were you saying?
Tell her to keep her ass out of Scream.
I mean, at this point, yeah. At this point, yeah, that's about how I feel. But whatever. Oh, dude, that's what I was going to talk about. Not video games. Wanted to pivot to Joker. The sequel to the Joker is getting absolutely dunked on in the reviews right now. They're shitting on this movie. Critics don't like this movie. Fans don't like this movie. Like, I literally haven't seen a review yet where people are saying really good shit about this film. And I don't know how to take that information. On one hand, I didn't really expect this to be all that good, especially after they announced it was going to be a musical. But on the other hand, I also didn't expect it to be what it is, apparently. So, Sin, I wanted to ask how you felt about that information. I know you've been seeing these reviews.
Yeah, I've seen negative stuff. I'm hoping that it's one of them things like I'll watch and I'll be like, I don't know what they're seeing, you know, don't trust reviews, watch it for yourself. But I'm also, I don't know. I know that Todd Phillips is gone. He said this was it. He was done with these characters pretty much after this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. The musical thing, like, I think if it's done sparingly, it could have been cool, and like dream sequences, not knowing what's real and what's not. But I don't know. Hearing some of the songs that supposedly they're doing, and then I don't know. I don't think it's anything to fault for Phoenix or Lady Gaga. I don't know. I don't really know what we're doing with it, so I'm very skeptical on it.
Do you plan to go see it, or are you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to see it. No, I'm not going to go out.
That's fair. Okay.
Mm-mm. I don't have time to go see it, and especially with the reviews, I'll just wait until I can watch it and then come from my home. That way, if it's boo-boo shoes, then I'm just like, all right, whatever.
You know what? I thought about. I'm pretty sure something that I talked about last week is happening currently, and I didn't I didn't give myself the proper amount of time to go see it. But I'm pretty sure the new version of Salem's Lot is currently streaming on Max, and I just confirmed that it is streaming on Max. It's an hour 54 minutes, and I haven't watched it yet.
I plan on
But
watching
at the
it.
time
Time
it's
recording
recording,
tomorrow is when
yeah,
I want to watch it.
I plan on watching it literally as soon as I humanly can. And I did see a review on it on from IGN that wasn't good. They shit on the movie pretty hardcore.
We don't trust
However,
IGN.
It's IGN, exactly. It's IGN. IGN led me to believe that the Transformers 1 movie that came out recently was absolute boo-boo shoes. They gave it a 5 out of 10. I saw the movie, and I gave it, I think, no lower than an 8. I thought it was fantastic. So that's just one very recent example of IGN
They shit on Demon Slayer. They've shit on a bunch of stuff. But then they said She-Hulk and like some other stuff that was not great was great. So pretty much, I think you just take their reviews and you flip them. Like, if they say something shitty, it's probably going to be good. And if they say it's good, it's probably going to be shitty.
Yeah, I think the only thing that they've rated in like, let's say this recent year or so that I agreed with was Dune Part 2. Dune Part 2, they gave a really good review, and I agreed with it, which I also gave it a good review after watching it for myself.
I want to test to see how good their ratings are. IGN review of Halloween Ends.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
What did they rate it? Review.
That movie was absolute booba shoes.
What did they rate it? Please God, don't play a video. Wait. Halloween Kills, they gave a 7 out of 10. Suffers from being the second chapter in a trilogy, but still delivers gory fun, fantastic performance, and electrifying score. I mean, I can watch kills over ends, but a 7?
Definitely wouldn't give it a 7.
Where the fuck? Where's the rating? Okay, verdict.
Now I want to check it.
6. They gave it a 6. Though full of creative kills and love for the movies that laid the groundwork for it, Halloween Ends sees a franchise stumbling on its way to the finish line. A 6, saying it's okay. I don't think it's a 6.
Me neither.
Wait, they also gave Penguin a 5?
They did. They gave. I forgot to bring that up. They gave the.
Look, IGN doesn't know how to rate or review a damn thing. We're just gonna. Oh my god! Now my head hurts. I don't even. Yeah.
Now you're pissed off. Yeah, IGN.
She-Hulk was a 10. They did not give She-Hulk a 10. I knew they rated it high, but there's no way they gave it a 10.
I really hope that. I hope.
I'm looking. If they gave it a 10, I'm done. There is.
I hope you're getting trolled.
No shot. Where's the damn review? I'm going straight to the number. They gave it an 8. Okay. Still, that's too high for that.
That's too high. I wouldn't have given it. I think at best, at absolute best, and this is me being as generous as possible, I could see it getting a 7 for sure. I could see it getting a 7.
It had moments, but
yeah.
I have no desire to probably ever watch it again.
I would watch She-Hulk again before I watch Miss Marvel.
Oh, I'm never watching Miss Marvel. I one and done.
Ever. I watched Miss Marvel so you guys listening didn't have to. And I mean that.
It sucked.
Because that wasn't a great show at all.
No. A 6
I know that it was. And I said, we both said many times every week.
2018, I bet they gave it an 8.
Us.
I'm going to say they
gave it 876. Is that how they rated it?
No, they put, what, 8? Yeah.
876
I bet it is
876.
Halloween 2018. If they gave it an 8, it has to. They gave it a 9.
Did they?
David Gordon Green's Halloween is a great sequel that offers thrills, kills, and plenty of laughs. 2018 is fantastic. Kills, not great, but I can stomach kills better after watching Ends and knowing how bad it can be. But I swear, Tommy Doyle, I would kick him right in his nards. Talking all that damn bullshit.
It's funny. That's funny.
Evil dies tonight with your baseball bat. That's why your ass got killed.
Well, with that said, I think we should move on to our meat and potatoes because I got a few notes about it I wanted to talk about, and you've got like 2 pages worth of notes.
I do not. My week has been so rough. I forgot what all I've watched. Like I forgot I watched McMahon, and I forgot I watched Penguin, and I don't even know when the hell I watched Penguin. I watched it. I might not actually watch it Sunday night.
You watched the second episode, right? Watch the second episode?
Yeah, I'm caught up on Penguin. I think I did watch it Sunday night. I'm trying to remember what all happened.
So the second episode focused on everybody.
Oh,
really
I know my only note. Only note I'm gonna say is Sophia, right?
Sophia.
She is like the. I don't know. Like, I'm trying to figure out how to word this. Like, yeah, you're pretty much you're just fucked either way with Sophia. Like, if you side with her, she's batshit crazy. So how much can you really trust her? If you don't side with her, she's batshit crazy. So she's gonna ruin some stuff. So it's like damned if you do, damned if you don't, kind of thing.
I think the things that I can say about this episode that are like quick in a nutshell is this episode does a really good job of showing you how quick Oz thinks on his feet.
That was my other thing. He's fantastic of like fast problem solving.
He's really good at that. That's where he excels for sure. And I think that's the reason why he's still alive, to be honest. I didn't see this at all, but I've been seeing online a lot of people think Victor is destined to be Zaz. I'm not seeing it. People are saying online, like if you look at comments for the show online, People are like, it's obvious that he's Zaz. They're setting it up so in your face. And I'm like, how? Nothing about this man screams Zaz other than his name being Victor. I don't see it at all. Um, like I could understand that if they wanted to put a Victor Zaz in this show, they could put him in the show, make him completely different than everything we've ever seen. But at the same time, it just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't. I'm just not seeing it. I guess it'd be different if they showed us that he likes to like hurt himself, commit self harm. If he had some kind of thing where he really wanted to kill uh, uh, people that looked a certain way to him, that looked a certain for him, like if he liked to make tally marks or something, like if he had a tick, was anything like Zaz, then sure. But he doesn't like at all. So I'm not getting it. I'm not getting it at all. So I don't see it. If it happens to be a thing where they set him up to be Zaz like the last part of the season or whatever, I'll eat my words. Right now, I think that everybody just wants him to be that because his name's Victor, and they're like, "Yeah, he's Victor. He's not Victor Free, so it's got to be Victor Zaz." Like, I'm just like, leave that man alone. Let him be his own character. It seems like they created this character just for the show. He's a really wonderful addition to the show. He works out. He gives Penguin somebody to play off of. He gives us a reason to have humanity for this character. Like, I really like that. Aside from his mom and shit, like his mom gives him a little bit of humanity. You see that he is a son, she is a mother, but his mom sucks. She's super fucking abusive, and she's like with the shit. So like, we need another character who is like kind of with the shit because they have to be. You know what I mean? Like Victor just seems to be this surrogate audience character. Like he is us, just a little more morally gray than we are. But I love the character, and people saying that he's Zash just doesn't fit for me. At least right now, doesn't fit. But we'll see as the season goes on. What do you think?
I like Victor. Like I said, he gives you the moral compass to an extent for Oz. Because if not, it's just, I mean, Victor's still a criminal, but it's just pretty much really bad criminals doing bad shit the whole time. You know,
I agree.
he is, I guess, as pure and naive as you can be in this world. Essentially. And he gives Oz somebody to care about because Oz doesn't give a shit about any of the other people, with the exception of his mom. He don't care about any of them.
We've
and
already heard.
What's her face? Maybe he might care for her a little bit, but he really doesn't. Yeah.
I will say, even for Victor, Victor's the only person in the show so far that has seen where Penguin actually lives.
Yeah.
And he's the only person that has seen Oz's mom, like his mom's house and all that stuff. No, he hasn't taken anybody else there. So that's letting us know that there is some level of care that he has for this character, for Victor, and I like that. Like I said, it gives him humanity, and that's really cool to see because, like I said, it makes him more endearing. But yeah, man, that's really all I got to say about the Penguin. Like, it's just really good. If you haven't watched it, do yourself a favor. It's worth your time.
Good shots, good acting. Yeah, I mean it's a solid show. It's really good. I'm surprised you don't have any Batman Easter eggs for us.
Not this episode because I didn't get to watch it, which is what I Easter eggs. I'm sure as soon as I look at it again, I'll get it, but it'll be too late because we'll have another episode to talk about. So I will try doubly hard to do that for you guys the next time you get to listen to our beautiful voices. But until then, I guess we will move on to our meat and potatoes, and I'll let you throw us right into that.
I mean, I thought this was the meat and potatoes.
No. I know at the cinema this week, and we watched two films. One of which was a film that we've already seen, which was Jeepers Creepers.
We didn't watch two films.
You didn't watch two films?
I couldn't find it.
Am I the only person to watch two films? I had to buy it. I had to buy it.
Which one did you have to buy?
I had to rent Malum.
Yeah, I couldn't find that anywhere. It said, what did it tell me? It told me it was going to be on Hulu or something. That was a damn lie.
It was a damn lie. Well, I did watch it. I got some notes, and then I also watched Jeepers Creepers. But if you weren't able to do that, then I can save that for next week.
I've seen
And actually,
Jeepers. I haven't seen Malum.
okay, did you get to watch Jeepers this past
Yeah.
week? Sweet.
All right.
So do you want me to? Well,
Well,
how about I'll just
we
talk
gotta let the
about.
thing roll. Hold on. It's
Let's do
time
it. Let's talk about
for cinema. Cue very long camera thing. Just get your popcorn. This might as well be a clock ticking.
I mean, you're not wrong.
I mean, this is probably this camera thing. It was probably like the sound effect is the whole length of a movie back then. All right. As Christian alluded, we both watched Jeepers Creepers, which would have been on the inside's. Yes, on the inside suggestion. Obviously, we both have seen this movie. It's been around forever. And Christian also watched Malum, which, if you listen to last week's episode, is pretty much Last Shift. So I guess I'll let you just start with Malum and let you go in on that since I didn't see it. But
Okay.
I'm assuming it's pretty much exactly the same. Hopefully it's better.
Yeah, I wrote some notes, as you guys can see, just a little bit. What I did was, just in case this happened and you were not able to watch the movie, I took some notes, and my notes are literally telling us what the differences are in both films. We watched Last Shift last week, so you know exactly what we're getting into. So I just wrote how those films are different in my notes to keep it simple. And like I said, in case you weren't able to see it. So, Malum, the movie starts with us, because if you remember, Last Shift kind of starts with our main character, Jess, literally right outside of the police station. She's in her car talking on the phone to her mom, which is one of a billion phone calls we get in the movie. Then she goes in, and we're in the police station for pretty much the entire movie until we meet Marigold, the weird hooker that's outside smoking a cigarette that gives us a whole bunch of plot of the movie, and then she walks off. So Malum starts with us overlooking the entire city, and then we see that there's a bunch of rioters and whatnot. We also see Jessica's dad shortly after he kills the cult leader, whose name is different in this movie. His name isn't John Payman. It is indeed John Malum. So they changed that. In this movie, the dad is like super upset and bummed out because he only saved a few of the kidnapped girls, which he sees as a failure because all the other ones did end up dying the same way they did in the last movie. And we see that there's a scene where he goes postal, kills all his fellow police officers, and then turns the gun on himself, kills himself. So that's all of that is not in the original. It's only for this one. We also see that 1 year later, Jess and her mom, Diana, who is now an alcoholic due to the death of her late husband, Jessica's dad, they're having a conversation. It's kind of heated. She doesn't agree with Jessica's new choice of job, which is to be a police officer like her dad. She then starts her first day, which is her first shift, which is the very last shift of this police station that she's working in. So that's when we pretty much start getting the same things as the last movie. Because you remember the scene that I'm talking about right now is where she's at the police station in the car talking to her mom on the phone. That's where this one is now. In Malum, the crazy stuff happens in the movie. It's more so cult activity and not supernatural activity. So there is a difference there. So a lot of the stuff in the original movie was all based in like, hey, is she going crazy? Is she not going crazy? Is this supernatural shit happening in this police station? And this one, most of the stuff can be written off very easily as crazy cult shit. So I'll say that. We still get the homeless dude. He's back. He has a fucking backstory in this movie. We get the same flashlight scene where she gets trapped in the damn holding cell and all that. We get all of that. It's the same. It's pretty much exactly verbatim. In this movie, she calls dispatch to pick up the homeless dude, and then she remember in the original, she goes back to the front desk, looks up, and sees the word Sal written in blood on the ceiling. Well, in this movie, she finds an actual fucking pig with the cult symbol drawn on its back in what I'm assuming to be blood. So instead of seeing the word Sal, she finds a Sal in this movie. So that's a difference. Also, instead of us just getting a whole bunch of people talking about what happened to her dad and shit, in this movie, she finds a fucking flash drive that has one file on it, one big file, excuse me, with a bunch of folders in it, and it says Malum. So of course, it's called what the movie is called. In the folder, she sees a bunch of cult interviews where they're talking and shit, and then they turn to the camera to her in real time and start calling her name directly. So it's like real spooky, spooky ghost shit, spooky ghost shit, spooky ghost shit, which we get back in this movie. Then it cuts to her dad talking. He's interviewing John Malum before his death. During their conversation, her dad stands up mid speech, stands there for a little bit, and then walks out of the room. And then she finds his body cam footage to see why he stood up and to see what he saw. Once she finds his body cam footage, she sees some spooky ghost shit, spooky ghost shit, spooky ghost shit. So there is that. She sees this creature that has like a pentagram face in the window of wherever he was looking. It's weird. Then we see another scene that's definitely not in the original movie. We see John Malum. He's holding a baby. He's talking about how fucking dope she's going to be and how she is going to bring the rebirth of their Lord. He then calls the baby by its name, which is Jessica. He then hands said baby to a young Diana, which, if you guys don't remember, is Jessica's mom. So that shit is weird and not in the original movie. Then we enter Marigold, the prostitute from the last movie that was smoking a cigarette outside. Guess what? She's played by the same bitch. It's the same woman playing the same character in this movie. Yes. She is still, I'm pretty sure, smoking a cigarette, giving us exposition. She's talking about the movie or scenes that happened that we didn't see. Then she looks up, sees something that we don't see, and freaks the fuck out and then leaves. So there is that. And I know you guys remember the last movie, Price, who was talking to Jessica and was real cool, told her about her dad, turned around, he had a giant bullet wound in his head because he was a ghost. Cool. In this movie, we get two police officers, Officer Hudson and Officer Price. So that's cool. And guess what? They're not actually dead because when they turn around, they don't have any bullet holes in the back of their head. But guess what? Fucking psych. Nope, they're actually dead as fuck. They just don't have bullet holes in the back of their head. So yeah, they are dead. It's crazy. It's some spooky ghost shit that happens with that. The homeless guy hears we cut back to the homeless dude. He's outside of his holding cell. He's walking around. He's hearing a voice. We find out that the voice that he's hearing is his dead daughter's voice. Then we see the pig that Jessica saw earlier. Then we find out that his daughter was fucking fed to this very pig after her death from the cult. Insane stuff. It's crazy sentence to say. I know it's ridiculous. Cult members. Then we cut to Jess again. Her mom just magically shows up at the police precinct. So her mom's there. She tells her mom to stay hidden because she hears a whole bunch of shit. She goes to check out the shit. There's a bunch of cult members, literally dozens of cult members. They start chasing her. She runs to the gun range room, and then she starts blasting the fuck out of these cult members as they run up on her until she runs out of ammo. And then I think they knock her out. I can't remember. To be honest with you, because at this part I was like, what's happening in this movie? What am I watching right now? Then we see the actual, we see Malum show up, like John Malum. He shows up. He talks about how she's the perfect vessel. And then in the shadows, we see this fucking creature walk out from in the shadows. He's got like the pentagram face and shit, but it's like an actual demon that we're looking at this time around. So that's cool. I'm not going to lie to you, people listening to me and Sin. What I'm about to say sounds real stupid, but I swear to God it happens. So after this demon creature walks out from the shadows with the pentagram face, its face rips off and attaches itself Jessica's face like a fucking face hugger from the Alien franchise. I can't make this shit up. I promise you that happened. She gets it off. She runs off. She sees another creature that looks different from the pentagram demon we just saw, and she has a shotgun in her hand. She blasts the fuck out of this creature, and it falls to its knees. And then we realize, or she realizes, that she was hallucinating. She just killed her fucking mom, which is insane. Oh my god. The cultists cheer, and her mom is dead. The creature literally shows up behind her, whispers in her fucking ear. She starts sobbing. Then that sobbing turns into laughter. Then she talks about how she's going to bring about the creature and worship some shit. I don't remember what she said. Then she turns the gun on herself, shoots herself in the fucking face. She's dead. And then the cultists grab her body and put her on a throne that comes out of nowhere, by the way. They sit her down on a throne that's right next to the fucking pentagram faced demon creature that we saw. So they're sitting next to each other. And then right when you think the movie's going to end, you get a jump scare because she like freaks out. Her body moves around and twitches. Then credits. That's the end of the movie. So that was Malum. Was it better than Last Shift? Yes and no. It was worse, but also much better because it was less boring. It told a full, cohesive story. We didn't have to fill in a lot of the pieces. We didn't have multiple characters just sitting down telling us the movie. We actually got to see the shit. So, yeah, I think it was better, all things considered. It wasn't that much better of a movie, but it was better. I don't remember what I rated this. I'm not going to lie. I don't even want to look it up because I don't care. But I'm done watching Last Shift and Malum. I will watch Malum again before I watch Last Shift. But god damn it, I'm glad that these movies are over. I paid $3 for this shit. I'm gonna blame Jordan just because he didn't even tell me to watch this movie, but I'm blaming Jordan anyway. So Jordan, if you're listening, I paid $3 for this shit for you, buddy. But yeah,
That made my head hurt. I'm not gonna lie.
Watch Malum.
That made my head hurt. Adding the extra shit on top of what they have made my head hurt.
And you didn't even watch it.
No, I mean, you took out the spooky ghost shit. Was it a better budget at least?
Yeah, the budget was definitely better. Definitely a better budget for sure.
Okay, well, at least it had that for it. Eventually, I'll watch Malum, but I mean, I'm not gonna lie. That is not high on my list at the moment. There is a lot of other stuff.
I'm legitimately. I hope that you have a movie with viewers soon, and you guys watch Malum. And if you do, let me know because I will hop in and start just going in. No, I won't.
Are you talking about like our movie nights?
Yeah, I hope you guys watch Malum for your movie night. I hope you do.
No, why would you do that?
I hope you do. If anybody in the movie night.
I mean, you know, you can go in there and suggest one, but please don't because I'm
gonna.
No,
I might do it right now.
No, don't do that. They have shit in there like Pooh, Blood and Honey 2, and shit, what is the other one? It's the Mickey Mouse movie. What the hell is it called?
Oh my god, I forgot what that was called, but I know what you're talking about.
Hold on, I'm about to.
Go look it up.
It's called Mousetrap.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
Mousetrap. So
I saw Jordan says check your Venmo after this for that $3, but I did watch Last Shift under the influence of certain weeds, so I had a great time. I might have enjoyed a few things a little bit more due to that. Blood and honey, dude. I feel you, Jordan. I will say this though. I didn't hate Last Shift. It just wasn't. It wasn't awesome, but I didn't.
It wasn't a Boo Boo Shoes movie. At least that it actually got a positive. I think I gave it a 4.5 or something.
Yeah, last week. And I'm not gonna lie. Though I just described Malum in like the first way, but it was better than Last Shift. So if you've seen Last Shift and you liked it, I highly recommend checking out Malum because I would watch Malum again. I don't want to watch it again like this month, but I would watch it again for sure.
Speaking of
The only
stuff
way I
this
would
month,
watch.
there's 2 new movies that I really want to see that I saw trailers of that are streaming now, and they're going to be in my Spooktober stuff.
Well, I know for a fact that Salem's Lot is one of mine, but 2 movies you're.
Well, yeah, Salem's Lot was a given. Salem's Lot, and then next week, Caddo Lake or whatever is the other one. But the
That's
2
one with
new ones
Dylan
I
O'Brien?
saw are, is it Apartment 7A? It's something 7A.
Apartment 7A is apparently a prequel to Rosemary.
Yeah, first off, Mrs. Sin's never seen Rosemary's Baby, so she's watching that this year.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
All
she's
right.
watching that, and we're watching Apartment 7A because the trailer looked good. The other one is called Cobwebs, and it has Homelander in it, Anthony Starr.
Cobwebs. I'm pretty sure I've seen it, and if it's the movie I'm thinking about, then it's. Was that movie Boo Boo Shoes? I can't remember.
It probably is. I just
I'm
want to
wait.
watch it because he's in it, but it looked interesting. It's something like the kid's seeing some shit or something, and he's in there and he's acting all creepy as the dad or stepdad or something. I don't know. What other? Was there another one? There's a bunch of like older stuff that she's getting experienced this year.
I mean, that's fair. I love when people are watching, stuff that I think is like stuff that everybody's seen when they're watching it for the first time. I love that kind of stuff. So I'm here for it. And
Rosemary's
I hope
one
that you
that
guys have a good time.
she's wanted to watch. Her dad's like talked to her about multiple times, and she's never seen it. And for some reason, we've never found it, and I've found it. I have it this year for her to watch.
Did you buy it or did you just find it?
No, it's on some streaming sites.
Nice.
Yeah.
Which one? I might watch it again myself.
I want to say. Part of me wants to say it's Peacock or Paramount. I can't remember which one.
Yes.
One of the two.
If it's on Peacock, then I'm gonna give it.
It's one of the two. I can't. I don't know. I'll have to let you know. Okay, on to the second movie. Since yeah, I figured we weren't doing that because I couldn't find it. I was like, oh well. It wasn't even one that we were listed. We just decided to tackle it because of thing. But now that I know,
reasons, yeah.
I don't have to watch it. Second movie, Jeepers Creepers, come out in 2001. IMDb rating, a 6.2 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 46%. So yeah, Jeepers Creepers. Pretty much most of you listening have seen Jeepers Creepers. If you've watched Horror at all, it was very popular. 2000 still is a very popular movie. We will not speak on the others. 2 is okay. Actually, time recording this, I think that's what I'm watching tonight is 2, just because why not?
A lot of people really, really like 2. I remember thinking 2 was fine. I don't remember loving it. But I remember thinking it was.
I'm excited to watch it again especially after like 2 come out in what, like 2003?
2004?
I don't think it was a year after Jeepers. I feel like it was a couple years after Jeepers. It may have been longer than that. I don't know. But after 2...
It was 2003. It was 2003.
After 2, I will go ahead and tell you, just don't even watch them. Once you get past 2, stop watching because they are boo-boo shoes. They are awful. They have just ruined that franchise.
That's very true.
And 2, we will see. I always liked 1, but watching again in 2024, first thing that stands out to me is so many cardinal mistakes made in this movie. And I'll have specific questions to ask you. Second thing that stands out to me is I really wish we had a dash cam of the creeper driving. Because the dude drives like a damn maniac, but he actually can drive. And whatever's in that damn truck thing is nutty. That thing hauls ass.
Oh yeah, 100%.
He should be a race car driver for real. Because I made comment. There's a point where the cop car slides conveniently, perfectly behind their car when they stop in the road, and I was like, there ain't no damn way. But then he was driving. I was like, I'm always a stunt car driver. Like this dude is sliding stuff around, like perfectly parking it. I really like the creeper in this. Even now, 23 years later, which ironically, isn't it 23 years for him?
Yeah.
Because
actually.
Pennywise is 27.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So 23 years later, here he comes. Creeper, I like it. I still like him. I still like the way the actor moves with him. I like the way that we don't necessarily. There are some parts, obviously, with like very dated CGI and like a little too much, but for the most part, like it's real dark lighting on the character, and they just have him masked up and stuff, and it looks better. I will say the part where he has his leg all jacked up after they run over him like 50 times.
Mm-hmm.
When he's walking, I felt that in my life. I was like, damn, that's me trying to get around.
That's just they're just literally
That's just me
targeting
in
you.
life. So for 2000s, I mentioned this earlier with Amityville Horror. There's goofy visuals. Christian, you know what I'm talking about. There's just dated things they would do that were very popular back then. There's still some in this. It's not as bad. They don't like overuse them, thank God. But there's still parts that are dated. Case in point, him in the wings, him leaving the police station, stuff like that. There's still some parts that are still very. I mean, it's dated. It's 23 years old. I mean, the technology's advanced. I still really enjoyed it though, and I still really love the awkward eating the head, kissing the head, ripping the tongue out of the head part that used to always freak everybody out with the lighting of it, the shot, the way the light is. I still really like it, and I still enjoy it. I will save my rating, but also the similarities to it and how influenced they are by Pennywise and by Stephen King stand out. Main character Justin Long is named Derry. The creature comes out every 23 years instead of 27, so forth, so forth. Like, there's more that go down the line. And yeah, like, I still like it. I still enjoy it. It was fun.
Yeah, man. I want to agree with pretty much everything you said. Like, I did notice a
I
lot
do
more
have a
this time
question for you
around.
though. When you were ready, I'm not
Oh, well,
interrupting
go
you. Go
ahead.
ahead with your notes. But I have a question I want
Okay.
to ask you because I was asked last night, and I was told to ask you to see how similar your answer would be to my answer.
Okay.
So there's a part.
Um,
All right, are you ready for the question? Or we can save it to last call.
oh yeah, unless Jordan slides in with something crazy at
Oh,
the
we need
last.
to double up because we did drop the ball last week, so we need to.
We did drop the ball last week, so we'll do that. But
Okay.
this time around watching it, I did notice the Stephen King similarities, the way that the creature is and how it's described. Um, I second a lot of your opinions, so without just copying you, I'll say
I
some
noticed
things
the
that I think
glasses too that you mentioned.
Oh yeah, like a
Within the
month
last
ago.
year, you
Yeah,
mentioned the glasses. I
yeah.
noticed that at the
It
beginning.
wasn't.
I'd never seen that before, but I noticed what you're talking about.
Yeah. So at the beginning of the movie, it's a blink and you miss it scene, but Trisha does have glasses.
Mm-hmm.
You see those, like I said, very beginning of the movie when they're in the car before we really get into any kind of character building. But so to without the I don't want to run the risk of just copying what you just said. So there's some other things I wanted to bring up. One being I loved how we got introduced to these characters. I love how we got the backstory to these characters, which was very organic. They're just in a car having a conversation, and they're not having the conversation necessarily for us, the audience. They're having the conversation for them. They do explain a couple of things that siblings wouldn't need necessarily to explain because they would already know. But the way that the questions are asked in such a way that them over explaining makes sense, right? So like Derry, which like you said earlier, is another allusion to Stephen King and how his books take place. I've really enjoyed Derry explaining to us why he likes to wash his clothes at home, how that happened, how he likes their mom to think she still needs them. I liked him talking about Trisha and his views on her, how he sees her, how he thinks she sees herself. I really enjoyed the game that they have that they play, that the rules make sense. They explain them in a way that makes sense. I like how they show us their personalities, how jovial and how juvenile Derry can be, but also how much older and how much stronger Trisha is, and how she's very competent in what she does. She talks about how she wants things to be. They took her car to go home. Derry talks about how they should have taken his car to go home. Like all those things. I really, really like how they do that. Then they show us, the cardinal sins, Derry making stupid decisions, going back to check the pipe to see what's in there because he wants to see something nasty and all that stuff. And then him baiting Trisha the way a brother would bait a sister. Well, what if it were you back there? You know what I'm saying? When he convinces her to go back to check, that's exactly something I would say to my own sister. You know what I'm saying? To get in her head, to get her to do what I wanted her to do in that aspect. I can see that happening 100%. The manipulation, I see all of that. Definitely a sibling thing in that way. I liked how Derry talked about Trisha's ex and how he brought up beating you, but he was talking about the license plate in the car, and you see her face when she says it. So obviously there was some kind of domestic abuse going on in her last relationship with the poli sci track team guy. And the song that Derry sings, minus that, or aside from that, I really liked how they didn't give us everything about the creeper. We don't get everything. We don't see everything because we don't need to, and also because they probably didn't have the budget for it. But they make do with the shadows, with the atmosphere, with the soundtrack, with how scared the characters are, with how scary they make the creeper feel by showing us the reactions that our main characters have to this thing and how nobody believes them because it's so unbelievable. But we've seen it and they've seen it. I love how they do that in this movie. And I'm going to keep saying they and not him because reasons, if you don't know, Google. But I really, really enjoy that. This film has all the things every really good slasher and creature feature need, right? They show us just enough. They heavily utilize the shadows and the soundtrack. They use the atmosphere of the where the people are, the situations they get into to make the movie interesting. So I really like that. And then the design of the creeper is fucking A plus. Like I'm just gonna say, I love the design of him. I love his fucking duster. I love his hat. I love his weird white hair that doesn't actually make any fucking sense. I like his sharp ass teeth. The way that his eyes change in the movie, if you're paying attention, the color that they are, I really like that. I like how they explain what the creature is and what it does and how it survived all this time. That shit is scary as fuck. And it's scary because they don't over explain it. Then you get all these sequels that try to give you more, but then they don't give you more, but they're terrible because they're just boo boo shoes movies, right? And then there's comics about the creature as well, where they talk about it way too much. It's like Mayan culture and this and that and this and that. But we don't need all that shit, man. That's what makes it scary. Jaws is scary because you see a shark, and you see a shark doing some stuff, but not all of it, and they don't show it too much. People don't do that anymore. And this movie, like I said, showed us just enough. Especially working with what they had and the time in which the movie came out. I just really enjoyed that. Um, to kind of fastball into my rating, out of 10, I would give this movie a solid 8 out of 10. I think it's really well done. I think the soundtrack's good. I think they chose solid actors for this movie. Trisha's eyebrows are a character in of themselves. They are very lively in the movie, I will say. But it's definitely a product of its time. It looks like a movie that came out in the early 2000s or the late 90s. Either way is acceptable. And like I said, you can just see a lot of that in this movie. And you can see how some of this movie could easily be the blueprint of how Arab Kripke started writing Supernatural. You got the siblings, you got the car, they're on the road, they see something supernatural, they investigate, they do what they need to do to kill said creature, but in this, sense, it doesn't work out. And I also one other thing I wanted to say is I didn't expect this movie to have a final girl. I thought it was going to be a final boy. And the subversion that we got for it being a final girl instead of a final boy is really cool to see. And Derry being a screen king, essentially, loved it. I really liked that we followed this male character the whole time and how his sister was like so much more of a badass than he was and how scared he was and how she had to keep him together and she did everything in her power to save him, but it didn't work. Love all of that shit. makes me want to watch the movie again. This is something that's on my list for every single spooky season. Every Halloween, I'm watching this. It's been that way since 2001, and it's going to continue to be one of those ways. So, like I said, to go straight into the rating, 8 out of 10, 4 out of 5. Love this film. Sin, what about you?
I go with an 8. I think it's shortcomings that are dated. Actually, the shortcomings probably helped it with as far as longevity, being able to still enjoy this movie 23 years later. Like you said, the shadows, the lighting, over corny CGI, dated ways of doing things. I think them just doing the atmospheric stuff really helps the movie stay as a staple of something you can watch 23 years later. You know, like the person dressed up, I can't think of the actor's name, that dresses up as the Creeper, doing a great job. Like you said, the design of him, the way he walks, the duster, the hat, the hair, everything. It just, yeah, it's a solid 8. It's one that you watch every year. I wish I could say the same for all the other ones. I'll definitely let you guys know what I think about 2, because I don't know the last. I mean, it's probably been several years since I've watched 2, and when I watched it, it was probably like not fully watching it. It was probably one of those, like, it was on in the background during like Fear Fest or something, and I was doing other things.
Yeah.
But 1 is a staple, and it's still, there's a reason people love the Creeper and love Jeepers Creepers, and were freaked out by it, you know, back in the early 2000s, and I'll definitely keep watching it. Me and the missus both really enjoy it, and yeah, yeah. I mean, it's good. That's about all I've got for it.
All right.
So, Mrs. Sin just said in chat, Jeepers scared me so bad when I was little. That was one of the first ones. I feel like that's why I got suggested by On the Inside too. I think it scared him back then too.
I would be a liar if I said it didn't scare me. I'm going to tell you guys what got me when I saw, because I saw this around the time it dropped, right? And what scared me about it, the atmosphere, like I said, that definitely got me. 2, Derry's demise at the end fucked me up. I thought about that for like a solid 2 or 3 days after I saw the movie, like him screaming in the dark.
Through.
Yeah, dude, just before you even see that, just hearing him screaming in the dark, just like what's her name? What's her name? I forget her name. Jezebel? Whatever. The psychic.
Psychic, yeah.
Yeah. I'm telling you, when you cut to the scene, it's the music and you just hear Derry screaming, I was wrecked, bro. It was literally like the Vince McMahon meme. Him, you know, crying, waving his arms like, nah, cut the video. Like, that's how I felt. I was done. And then when you see his eyes, I was like, oh my God. It was kind of comical, especially now as an adult. But like at the time, the first time seeing anything like that fucking freaked me out. But in the best way. That's what you want when you're watching a horror movie. That's what you want when you're watching a creature feature. That's
how does the creature come out on top too?
Exactly. The creature wins. It is a nihilistic ending. I fucking love nihilistic endings when they, when they make sense and when they are earned. And that one was earned because the creature felt like the fucking Terminator. And I love that shit. Anytime you have a horror character that goes to a police station and doesn't give a fuck about there being cops, like, you already have my attention. Terminator, Creeper. Now that I put myself on the spot, I can't think of literally any other. But I love that shit. That's how you speak to me as a fan. But yeah, dude, it scared the shit out of me too, but in the best ways. And every time I saw an old, beat up jalopy truck like that, I immediately thought about Creeper. Immediately thought about him. So yeah, man,
you touched on it, but like less is more in these movies a lot of times, and I don't think Hollywood fully understands that or still gets that. They give you just enough. Derry and them talk about it's like the legend, or not legend, but the story, the scary story of the prom couple or whatever from like 78, and how the decapitation, all this stuff, and then he finds the body in the class ring saying 78, and it's sewn back on, and it screws him up, and like enough to let you know that Creeper has been running around for who knows how long in this area, preying on whoever he scares, and feels like feasting every 23 years.
And I love that he has to scare you first to smell your fear to see if you have what he needs. That shit is amazing. Also lets you know, like,
I
as
like
a
the
kid, I
sniff
didn't
too
think
when
about
he
this.
sniffs them. He sniff well, in
Yeah,
the head. He's like sniffing all weird.
yeah, he's sniffing all through it to see if he can get the tongue out. And the other thing is, in that movie, there was a deleted scene. If you have the old school DVD, there's a deleted scene. You remember the cat lady?
Yeah.
In that scene, when he's holding the cat lady by her head and walking her up to Derry, and then you see him peek out behind her. He doesn't say anything, but he peeks out and he throws the old lady and then walks out of the house to go catch Derry and Trisha. In the deleted scene, he speaks right there. He has this weird like country accent. He says, "She don't smell too good," and that's why he throws her, because he doesn't like what he smells from her. Probably because of all those cats and how she wasn't afraid of him when he jumped up there.
And she's
She
old.
wasn't scared. Yeah, but it's not even that she was old. She wasn't scared of his ass. He's just way stronger than her, so he fucking killed her. But one, she wasn't scared, and two, she didn't have what he needed, so he just threw her off instead of doing anything else. And I like that, but I'm also really glad that they didn't put it in the movie, because as soon as he talked, I immediately wasn't scared anymore. It took me out of the scene.
He don't need to
So
talk.
exactly, he doesn't need to talk. There's no reason.
All right. Last call.
Let's do it.
All right, last call. So that's right, ladies and gentlemen.
Pass the whiskey.
That's right. Get your
Whiskey?
as we're going into the last call. We have a question from Jordan, but we have another one before I forget and we get derailed. Mrs. Sin asked me this last night, so I want to ask you. In Jeepers Creepers, there is a moment, and you alluded to it, and it is a cardinal sin. But Derry poses the question as, do you go back and be a good person when you see a person throwing bodies, or what appears to be bodies, covered with rope around them, down a pipe, a drain? Do you go back to check, because that could be your sister, your brother, whatever? Do you go back just to check and see if you can help, or do you keep going? She asked me, Mrs. Sin said, what would you do to me? And he poses it as, I'm thinking, I'm trying to remember exactly how he says it. I'm thinking more than my own selfish existence. Do I go back and care about someone else, or do I worry about my damn self? Do you want to know my answer first, what I told her?
What's that?
My answer was, I'm thinking about my damn self and I'm driving on. I've watched way too many horror movies. I just saw a sheet with blood and rope, and I saw something that looked like a massive redneck hillbilly throwing them damn things like it was a pillow going down a drain. There is no way in hell I'm going back to confront or look for anything. Sorry about your luck. I'm gone. I'm out. I'm not dealing with that. No.
So to answer that question for me, would I go back? Would I keep going? I
Based
know
on
that there
Dead
are
by
some of
Daylight,
you.
you're not going back.
I know there are some of you that are hearing this right now that are just listening, and you can't see us, but hear me when I tell you, I am a dark-skinned black dude. There is no way I'm going to pull over, stop, and go check out, see what's in that hole. At best, I can call every manner of authorities possible, let them know what I saw, let them know exactly where it was, let them know there could be somebody, or that there straight up is actually somebody that needs help down there. That is what I can do for you. But as far as going back, I got nothing for you for a couple of reasons. One, when I get to the pipe, what am I going to do? I'm not taking my black ass in there. I'm not going down. I'm not sliding down that pipe to see what's in there. First off, there's no way I can get back out. And two, I don't know what's actually down in there. Let's say it's a body and I see it. Then after I see the body, what am I going to do? No, literally nothing. I'm just down there with you, bruh. And we about to die together. If you're already dead, then I'm just about to die with you. No way. I can't help you. I can't help anybody else if I die down there in that hole with you. So no, that's a no for me. And also, if this creature, I'm thinking right now that it's a person because I don't know that it's the creeper. So I just saw this person pick up a body like a sack of potatoes and just throw it in this hole? If he's that strong, I can't give him hands, bro. I can give him a 2-piece biscuit, no. I can give him a 2-piece combo, no biscuit. He's just gonna eat that and come back and beat my ass. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, bro. I literally just saw him pick up a whole body by himself like it was nothing and sling it in this thing. I got nothing. I'm not that strong. I know how strong I am. I know what kind of damage I can do. I know what these hands can do, but they can't take that creeper. There ain't no way.
Yeah.
So my answer is a resounding no. I'm gonna keep on driving. I'm hoping my phone's charged. I'm calling the cops. I'm letting them know what I saw, telling them somebody needs help. But I am not getting out. I am not checking that hole, and I'm not losing any sleep over it either. Absolutely not.
I
And
get
I
911
see that
when I
Jordan.
get service. That's it.
I see that Jordan says in the comments, "I'm white, but I'm not that white." And Jordan, that was the best thing I think you've ever said, and I agree with you. So with that said, nah, I can't meet you in the hole. I can't throw hands with the creeper. There's no way, bro. Like
Yeah.
this dude eats hearts and tongues and shit
Well,
for
we don't know that at
breakfast.
the time.
Literally, we don't know that at the time. That's true. But like, nah, I'm
What
good.
tiny bit I
No, thank
saw of
you.
him throwing stuff and the fact that he was throwing multiple bodies tells me, I'm not fucking with him. I'm out.
That's the other thing you just said. Multiple
Yeah, it's not
bodies.
one body. Like, oh, there might be one person down there. He threw what, 2, 3?
Yeah, your boy
No.
threw several bodies
good.
down this hole. That means he is not afraid to catch a body. It's not his first time. He's gonna kill me
You know what that
and
tells
throw
me?
me.
That's 3 other stupid people that were like, I'm going to go look down that hole. I'm not about to be the 4th. I'm out.
Look at they dumbass.
Yeah.
And now look at me. I can't join them. I'm
No.
sorry. I can't do it.
So, yeah. No, I'm not doing it. Okay. So that is your makeup question from last week. One other thing about Jeepers. That girl, Trisha, does not need a manual. She doesn't need a stick because I swear to God, she can't drive that damn thing. The whole movie, she grinds those gears constantly. She just needs to give it up and get an automatic and be done. Just saying.
I also see that Jordan said, because, like, what would you do? He says, yell at them, fight them. They'll kill you. Win what they kill that person with. Yeah, dude. They'll kill you with whatever they kill that person with. Exactly. I can't do it, dog. I can't do it. There's nothing I can do for you. I have no manner of weapon in which is going to keep me safe or you safe. You dead. What you already dead. Ain't nothing I can do.
Okay.
I can honor you. But
let's go on the second
But yeah.
last call. So
Second
you get a
question.
double header, double last call this week to make up from last week. Jordan says, in honor of Halloween time, it only felt right to have a scary movie question. What is a horror spooky movie that the overwhelming majority of people and critics say is horrible, you will die on the hill defending being good, and what's a movie people overwhelmingly agree is good that you can't help but think is trash? Take your time and explain why on both points.
Okay.
Man.
I tell you right now, Halloween Ends and Halloween Kills are both trash, and the people out there that love those movies think that they're good, have them high up on their fucking Halloween franchise rankings. Those people are stupid. I don't agree with them at all. Their opinion is not valid to me, literally at all, because how can you watch Halloween 1978? How can you watch Halloween 2 from 81? How can you watch Season of the Witch, Return of Michael Myers, any of those movies? How can you watch any of those movies and then tell me that Kills and Ends are good? I can understand people liking Kills. I really can. It's dumb fun. It's carnage candy. He's just brutally murdering a bunch of people. Sure, I can get behind you liking that, minus the evil dies tonight. I can understand that. But Ends, bro? No. Absolutely. I'll die on that hill. That movie's trash. I will die on that hill that movie is trash. You can't convince me that shit is good. Here's the thing. If it wasn't a Halloween movie at all, and it was just about this crazy fucking kid named Corey, and it was the only movie in the series, and he's just crazy, and then he starts slowly yet surely turning into this fucking serial killer persona that he made up himself because he in fact was bullied his entire fucking adult life. Sure, I could get behind that. But what we got from this Halloween movie that's supposed to be the end of this era, the end of the saga, the end of this character that we've been following for several decades, no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. No. And like I said, I could talk about that forever. I can give you multiple points if you need it, but I think you got enough. That shit
Is that
is
your answer?
fucking trash. For one that people like that's trash, yeah.
Who likes it?
A lot of people love that shit, and it's garbage. It's garbage.
I don't know. I know one that people don't like that I like. At least I don't think people like it.
What's that?
Fright Night remake.
That, I don't know anybody who doesn't like the Fright Night remake unless they're like super fucking old, and I don't mean that in a derogatory way. I just mean somebody who is over the age of
I feel
50.
like people, like you mentioned, a lot of people are like, "Oh, the remake," and I'm like, "The remake." I like Colin Farrell in it. I actually like the movie. Like I enjoy, and we watch it every year. Fright Night.
Mhm.
Okay, so maybe that's not a good one then. If I feel like most people I've talked to have been like,
I mean, that's valid. If you talk to a bunch of people who don't like it,
trying to think of
that
another
could be
one,
your movie for sure.
and one that I like. Movie. Wait, in my opinion, movie people like I can't stand Cabin in the Woods. Movie people. Wait. Oh, you can't stand Cabin in the Woods? See, I love Cabin in the Woods.
You hate Cabin in the Woods, but you love House of Wax. That's interesting, Jordan. That's interesting.
Mrs. Sin hated Cabin in the Woods until she understood it. Until she understood what they were doing. She was just like, "This is the dumbest shit I've ever seen."
Mm.
What do you mean you don't care?
You
for like
Cabin?
Oh my god, she's gonna make me mad.
She was like either of those movies.
I'm not crazy on House of Wax. You know a movie that what's the opinion of 13 Ghosts?
It has a cult following.
I'm not big on it. Every time I see it, I'm just like, I don't know. It's one I'm just not.
I'm really trying to think of a horror movie that people don't like that I like, because right now I can't think of a thing.
Tough.
Because in the horror movie scene, people. That's not true. What I was about to say was a lie, so I take that back. I'm really trying to think of a good movie, like a horror movie that I actually really like that people don't enjoy. Because even some of the sillier ones that I'm not a fan of. Hellraiser. Here's Miss Sin. Do you mean the remake? Because I can give you that. But if you're talking about the original,
she's never watched the original all the way through. She fell asleep.
Okay, Julia is one of the best villains of all time. This moment is just kidding. Wait, what movie are you talking about,
Cabin
Jordan?
in the Woods. He's on Cabin in the Woods.
Got you. To be meta. Okay, I got you. Both of them are just meh. No, Hellraiser 1 is a masterpiece. Hellraiser 2, still very good. The remake, I can understand if you don't like the remake. I liked it, but you know what? Maybe I'll go with that one. I fucked with the remake for Hellraiser, and a lot of people didn't like it. But I actually really liked that one. So I'll go with that. I understand why people didn't like it, but I liked it because it told a story that was different enough. I really, really, really love the female Hell Priest or Pinhead character. Really enjoyed her. Thought her voice was really cool. I like the way that they did the movie with the box and how it had to take people and you had to kill other folks. I liked all of that. So I was into it. I liked the main character a lot. Also, I thought she had really pretty eyes. So Hellraiser remake, like I said, I really liked that film. A lot of people didn't like it, but I fucked with it.
I'm struggling. I'm thinking.
Glad that you brought up Hellraiser. Actually, thank you. You gave me a movie.
I want to say the Pet Sematary remake, but honestly, I think I've only watched it once, so I can't really. I need to rewatch it before I really voice my opinion on it.
That's fair. I remember watching it, but I don't remember a whole lot about it. It didn't stand out.
I mean, I remember John Lithgow's in it as Judd, and I like that. I feel like I liked it, but I don't know, like, especially after the book and everything, if I'll like it as much. Damn, I don't know. Give me some movies, because I'm blanking right now on what's something that people love that I hate. What are some, like, Chucky? I don't hate Chucky. That's too bold of a statement. Chucky's not my favorite. He's definitely my weakest of the slashers.
That's fair.
I like the first Chucky.
Does anyone like the second Rob Zombie?
Rob Zombie's Halloween. I do actually. I like it. Is it up there with the like a lot of the other Halloweens? No, but I do actually like that one. I hate the second one.
I don't like the second one. She's talking about the second one specifically. I am not a fan.
I don't think anybody's a fan. I think it got bad reviews.
People are coming out saying that they love that movie.
H2O?
I love H2O.
I know. I love
I'm a huge
H2O.
Fan.
Did it get bad?
You know who fucking loves Halloween H2O? My wife. She really liked that movie, and I was very. I like
H2O. H2O is pretty. I feel like it's kind of high up, not because of the mask. Just I don't know. The story's good. I like it.
Yeah.
I like Hartnett. I like Jamie Lee Curtis in it. Not the best Michael look we've had, but
it wasn't like I can let go of Michael not looking cool if the movie's good. That's exactly what happened with 4. That's exactly what happened with 4.
And then you get Resurrection. But okay, we're not going down that rabbit hole. Damn. I don't know.
I do think that Halloween Resurrection is worse than Halloween Ends, because I remember someone asked me that recently.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's true.
Damn,
I'd rather watch Ends than Resurrection.
I need some movies because I don't know. I'm trying to think of something else.
You didn't like The Wolf of Snow Hollow, and I really like that one. I remember that. We talked about that on pod.
Wolf of Snow Hollow?
Yeah. Yeah, you didn't really feel that one.
Which one was that?
Jason X isn't a good movie, but it's entertaining as hell. But I wouldn't really count that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I don't like Sleepy.
You don't like Sleepy Hollow? Oh my God, you're breaking my heart right now.
You're making my head hurt. Look, I love Sleepy Hollow. I will not stand for that. Sleepy Hollow is good.
I love Sleepy Hollow too. That's one of my favorites. I actually haven't watched it yet, and it's on my fucking list. I love that movie. That's the first movie that I did a podcast about. Horrorverse. That's the first episode.
Damn,
I'm Sleepy Hollow.
I'm blanking. What is something that...
How'd you feel about People Under the Stairs?
I can't remember it. I know what you're talking about. But
okay.
I don't know.
That one, Eden Lake, Tourist Trap. I'm just trying to think of movies that people don't like. May. Let the Right One In, or Let Me In. Did you like Let Me In?
Wait, they don't like those?
Yep.
Okay.
The original people like
Let the Right One In. I like that movie.
Okay. Did you like the American remake,
both.
which was...
I actually like both.
Okay.
I've watched both.
That's a good one.
I do like Chloe in the one. I enjoyed it. I watched that one first, I believe, and then I watched the foreign one, and I enjoy both. And I think they're good movies. I think it's, yeah. I don't know.
So I saw Let Me In, which is the American remake first, and I really enjoyed it. I love that movie. And then I read the book Let the Right One In, and then I watched the movie adaptation Let the Right One In, and I liked all of it. I love the book. It's one of my favorite books of all time. I really like both movies. If I had to choose one that I liked over the other, then I like the Swedish version more because it's closer to the source material. But I really liked the remake, dude. The American remake was cool.
It's a cool concept too. A girl that gets boys to just pretty much, they fall in love with her, and then they stay with her until their adult life is over, and they protect her and feed her. Mm-hmm. Well, I say protect her. They don't really have to protect her. They just essentially feed her. and
Yeah.
keep her company because she don't need protection. She's badass.
Jordan says, "Let Me In" was super
I
dope,
like
super
that.
unique,
I
super
can't believe
creepy.
people don't like that.
Yeah.
That's a good movie.
People really don't fuck with that one, but I liked it. I liked it.
Damn. Well, that's disappointing.
One more question, real quick, since because I'm thinking about remakes right now. What did you think about the Friday the 13th remake with like Jason Mears and shit?
You talking about where he's like a survivalist?
Yeah.
Different. I kind of like Jason in it, but I don't know.
Because I watched
I'll pull for the slasher more than I'll pull for the people. If you say Boo Boo Shoes about one
Boo Boo
more scary movie,
Shoes.
Mrs. Sin, swear.
Which movie does she mean was Boo Boo Shoes? The Friday the 13th remake from 2009?
Yeah, probably. She don't even know. She's probably not even remember it.
Confirmed hater, says Jordan. I agree, but that's real funny. With yes, so she's talking about the Friday the 13th 2009 remake. She thinks it's Boo Boo Shoes. I'll say this: I watched that movie very recently, within the last 3 weeks. I watched Friday the 13th 2009, and I can't really disagree with Miss Sin. I think that the movie is Boo Boo Shoes, but I did really fuck with Jason. I thought he was cool as shit in that movie. And being a survivalist, like I didn't really care that he was a survivalist. I just liked it. I just thought it was cool. He looked cool. He moved really dope. I liked that he ran. He looked like he got shit done. You know what I'm saying? Like I really liked him. I thought he was dope. But the movie itself, absolute dog water. It was not good.
I might have
Have
an
it on
unpopular
DVD.
opinion.
It's one of those movies that's kind of ass, but damn, it's such a great 90 minutes. That's the other thing, dude. It's 90 minutes. You don't waste a whole lot of time watching that shit. It's definitely geared towards young men because the story is thin. Jason is just running after, mowing people down, and there's just boobs everywhere, and everybody's so sweaty and greasy all the time. It's definitely a Michael Bay movie because it looks like Transformers 1 and 2. Everybody is just glistening from like either baby oil or sweat all the time. And there's so many gratuitous shots of people's titties, and there's just ass everywhere. But it's 2009, so every single woman that's in the movie doesn't actually have an ass. We're just looking at their butt bone in these skinny jeans or like short shorts, and I was just like, Jesus Christ, dude, can we get to Jason just murdering these people again? Because that's where the movie is good, but there's just not enough. There's not enough of it. Like the beginning of the movie, like the first 15 minutes of the movie before you get to the title card, great shit. It's a lot of boobs and innuendos and sex jokes and shit. But like when he comes in and starts killing these kids, fantastic. And also they're not kids because all the people in the movie are like in their 30s, it seems. I think Danielle Panabaker was like the youngest person in the movie, and she was over 25, it seemed like, when they filmed that. So whatever. But yeah, dude, I love that first scene where he like throws he's like has this one bitch in a sleeping bag roasting her with the fire, and then she just falls out of the damn bag burnt to death. That was cool. You had the one guy who got caught in the bear trap. That was awesome. He fucking ran on this one guy, stabbed him in his. It's the same dude that got caught in the bear trap. He ran up on him and like cut him or hit him in the head with the machete, and just like kicked him off the machete, and then went after the main girl, Whitney or whatever, chased her down. Like, dude, it was dope. Jason was a bad motherfucker in that scene. But then we get a whole bunch of like booty and stuff, and it's not great. The axe throw, top 5 Jason kills. In your eyes, I understand, Jordan. That axe throw was sick. The only part about that axe throw that sucked is it was the only black dude in the whole movie. He was like, Chewie's out there. I'm gonna go get my boy. And I'm like, bro, Chewie dead as fuck, dog. You ain't about to do nothing but get killed. And that's exactly what happened. But I have respect for that guy. He didn't want to leave his homie out there to die. That's a real friend right there. I respect you. too bad you got an axe thrown in your back and then you died. And Jason was like on these people's roofs and shit, climbing in people's windows, snatching their people up. It was crazy. Damn, Jason was a badass in that movie, but the movie was trash. God damn, it was not good. Okay, let's hear it.
Freddy versus Jason.
Freddy vs. Jason, I feel the exact same way.
It's not a good movie, but
not a good movie, but
I still watch it.
God damn, it's fun. It's more fun. I think Freddy vs. Jason is more fun to watch than Friday the 13th, 2009, because the story is actually better. I really like the fact, like just the story. If you take the story on paper, fantastic. You got Freddy's mad. He wants to come back. People don't remember him because all the kids don't remember Freddy, and all the kids that do remember Freddy are in an insane asylum. And in the asylum, they don't have any dreams about Freddy to power him up because they've been taking Hypnosil. And Hypnosil was also in Friday the 13th. I'm sorry, not Friday the 13th, but Nightmare on Elm Street 3 with Nancy. That shit was dope, so they tied that shit in, but then they dropped the ball because they're like, Jason's afraid of water. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? That's pretty much where he lives. Like, what do you mean? So that was stupid. But whatever. But the rest of the movie was just fun as shit, dude. And a would-be sexual assaulter got killed by Jason. Yes. Yes, please, give me more of that. I loved it. It was great. Like I said, I don't think it's a particularly good movie, but it's fun as shit.
Yeah.
It's hilarious to watch. There were some really fun performances. And for some reason, Kelly Rowland drops the hard F word, which I don't know why that was even in there, but whatever. I love that movie. It's fun.
And you have Robert Englund.
Yeah.
So.
And you have Robert Englund. Yes. One of his last meaningful Freddy renditions as well. Great shit.
Before we end, do we want to set our next week?
Our film?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, our options right now are Lamageddon, Triangle, The Uninvited, The Burning, The Invitation, and Pulse.
I haven't seen a lot of those movies because those are like mid to late 2000s horror films. One of the
Burning
most
is
interesting.
actually an 81 movie. It's from 1981.
I have seen The Burning. I feel like I wanted to watch Triangle, and that was on my list. I'm about to double check.
I think Triangle's a slasher.
It came out in 2009, right?
Yeah, it came out in 2009.
Like, I'm actually interested in watching that one. I don't think it's
lock in Triangle.
Good. Let's do Triangle.
I think it's on Amazon Prime also.
I'm actually what am I saying? I'm about to check that right now, see if it's on Prime. Right before we lock it in, I'm literally searching it currently. Triangle. Ooh, if I can spell, that would help a bit. There we go. Triangle. Yeah, it is available on that right now. And that'll be our movie.
All right. Alrighty, well that's going to do it for this episode 115 of Sippin With Sin. Appreciate you all listening or watching. If you made it this far, apologies about technical difficulties. But yeah, new episodes come out every Wednesday, 8 a.m. Central Time on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and my YouTube, youtube.com/IamSinister. So if you want to watch the video version, go over there, subscribe, like, do all that stuff. Follow, subscribe, share with a friend. We need all the listeners we can get, especially during spooky season. So please, please, please pass the word along. We film these live on kick.com/IamSinister every Thursday, 7 p.m. Central Time. And like I said, you can find us 8 a.m. every Wednesday on Spotify, Apple, and my YouTube. You can find us on social media, Sippin With Sin, SIPPIN with Sin, Twitter, Instagram, Threads, TikTok, Facebook, all that good stuff. Yeah, you can find us. Go say hello. Go drop a follow. All that stuff. Give us your cinema suggestions. Or come to the Discord. You can find the links down below. Come to the Discord, join over there, and there's a section for cinema. Or just DM us your suggestions, and we'll add them to the list and pick one. And if you get featured, we'll let you know, or we'll shout you out. Actually, we'll shout you out. You get to know that we watched a movie that week. You can find me on my socials. IamSinister TV, Twitter, Instagram, Threads, Facebook, Twitch, all that stuff. IamSinister TV. You can find me live streaming over at kick.com/IamSinister. And then you can find me at youtube.com/IamSinister as well. Christian, where can we? Well, actually, and my other podcast, Behind the Vocals. New episodes come out on Fridays whenever we're able to book. It depends on tours and what people have going on. But when we have episodes available, Fridays, 8 a.m. Central. And then, of course, the content goes on the socials as well. But it's on Apple, Spotify, and then my YouTube, youtube.com/IamSinister. And that's it. Christian, where can everybody find you?
You guys can find me on my Instagram at Venom Inc. You guys can also find me on the TikTok at my full name, Christian Vincent. I post a lot of crazy stuff on there, art, little silly videos that I think about, just whatever. Guys, come say hi. It's always open. DMs are open. Say what's up. Let me know what you want to see more of. I'll do that. Let me know what you want to see less of. Probably will do that too. I'm doing Inktober right now, so I'll be posting something pretty much every day of the month of October on my Instagram. So, like I said, come say hi, check it out, and at the end of the month, I'll do a compilation video of all those things for TikTok. But yeah, those are the only two places you guys can find me right now because contrary to popular belief, I don't like social media all that much. So that's the only place you can find me.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you've made it this far, we appreciate it. Please spread the podcast, share it with a friend, all that good stuff. Like, subscribe, follow. We need it. Help us out as much as you can. We appreciate you all. Happy spooky season, everybody. Stay safe out there. And it's time for you to get the hell up out of here. You don't have to go home, but you got to get up out of here. Until next week, Christian, it's time to shut it down.
Guys, thank you so much for tuning in to yet another episode of Sippin With Sin. If you listen this far, you are indeed a real one. Words I'll leave you here before, you know those words, say them with me. But if you've not been here before for some reason, and this is your first episode, listen very carefully because these 3 words just might save your life. And those words are as follows. Don't get gutted.
See you guys next week.